Gesture is the way of portraying movement, action, and or emotions through your lines. As I've said, there's many uses and practices of it. In this video, I want to talk about how you can use it to create simple poses with small amount of movement for your character drawings. I'm planning to cover other aspects like body language or action as well, but right now this is just what I know the best. A really important thing to learn before getting into gesture in my opinion is anatomy. Even a simple standing pose could look appealing or interesting if you have a good understanding of anatomy and stylize the anatomy according to what you like. Just a simple standing pose with small changes to the hand or head already looks really well. Now, back to the topic. The way I draw, a lot of poses usually start from and depend on the torso. More specifically, the center line of the torso, and how this center line changes depending on the rotation and the tilting of the ribcage and the hips. Let me draw a couple examples to show how it can change in relation to the ribcage and the hips. So, we have here a flat standing pose. The center line is flat. The ribcage and the hips are also flat. In order to understand the position changes of the ribcage and the hips, I also want to mark these two lines on the ends of them. And now, if we tilt the ribcage one way and the hips the other way, we basically gave this curve to the center line. Well, with the changes to the torso, now the legs should also adapt to that. We could also change the arms a little as well. And now we have a pose. There's actually a lot more to how to place the legs on this, like stuff related to the balance and action line. But I don't really think about or applies those when drawing these. I just know that since the hips are tilted, if I draw this leg the same way, it would have to go below the ground, so it kinda needs to move to the side. Now again, let's take this pose and this time rotate the ribcage and the hips on the opposite direction. Where we gave the center line this sort of S-curve. In order to complement the torso, let's put forward the right leg and put behind the left one. And do the opposite with the arms. I'm using these lines over the limbs to emphasize the form and movement of them. On full drawings, these would be the clothes and stuff. And now we have a simple walking pose. The tilting could happen forward as well. My style already emphasized the natural tilt of the ribcage, so it's not very readable. But yeah, they can tilt forward as well. Just by applying these two things, tilting and rotating, and then placing the limbs in a complementing way, you can create a lot of different poses. Even though I said the torso is the main focus, the limbs and the head could still play a big role. You could create multiple poses with different feelings from the same torso just by changing the position of the limbs and the head. I also want to talk about perspective as well. Similar to knowing the anatomy well, applying a little bit of perspective or just keeping it in mind in general could also level up your poses. I'm planning to do a separate video about perspective, so I'm just gonna cover it lightly here. We basically need to know about the horizon line. This is basically an imaginary line that's at the same height as our eyes, or maybe the camera. Objects that are above it we're looking at from below, and the ones that are below it we're looking at from above. And each parallel line from an object would be converging towards it. Said parallel lines on the body are pretty much everywhere. But let's focus on the shoulders, the ending of the hips, knees, and the feet. So, in order for your poses to be believable, you have to know where the horizon line is. You don't have to know its exact position, but have a general idea of it. For a lot of character drawings you see online, it's usually located around the hips. Its effects doesn't really show up on front-facing poses. But if we rotate the body a little bit, notice how that convergence starts to be visible on the areas farthest away from the horizon line. The ones that are below it converging up to it and vice versa. Placing the shoulders and the feet according to this can level up your poses. They would look kinda off otherwise as well. If you wanna be a bit more advanced, we can take this pose that has the horizon line in its middle and carry it upwards. Firstly, we're gonna be seeing the top plane of the shoulders. Secondly, all of the parallel lines now converge up to the horizon line. Now, a couple more examples. I specifically emphasized the center line instead of just talking about the ribcage and the hips, because for certain poses, the other two can be hard to read. Like here, the shape of the ribcage is kinda difficult to see, so just mark the shoulder line, the center line, and the line at the end of the hips and work from there. To summarize, in order to draw simple and interesting poses, know your anatomy, think about the center line, think about different leg, arm, and head positions, and optionally think about where the horizon line approximately is. You can invent your own poses with these in mind, but at first start with looking for these concepts on reference. That's gonna be it for this video. I hope this was helpful. You can check my other tutorials as well. Thank you for watching till the end. Have a nice day.